All right, we are live. What's up, boys and girls? Your power here, the one and only Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael Lee Sanders. Thank you all so much for checking out an all new the RCWR show live, coming at you this Monday night, November 24th, 2014. What the hell is up with the dislikes? We told you guys we were going to come on at 11:10. Okay, well, I might be 6 minutes off. Forgive me. I was watching State of Affairs. I didn't realize they were going to go into a little bit of overtime. But why the dislikes? Come on, give us a chance. You guys are a little bit impatient sometimes, but in either case, we still love you guys. Thank you all so much for joining us on what is our final Monday night RCWR show for now, as we're gearing up for the Thanksgiving holiday week. As you all know, next Monday night after Raw, there's going to be that Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast featuring special guest Vince McMahon. Me and my broadcast partner, Titus Machiavelli, will be taking that Monday night off. But, Titus, we're going to try to see if maybe we can do something maybe Tuesday, right?
That is the plan.
That's the plan. We're gonna try to see if we can do a radio edition that Tuesday night to give an overall thoughts about that special podcast. We'll also talk about some wrestling headlines. It's nice to kind of switch it up from time to time, as you know. On here, we can only talk about one subject, and that's pretty much Raw. But we try to sprinkle in a little bit of wrestling headlines. And you know, tonight I actually wish we were doing our radio edition, Titus, because what we got with the Raw product overall tonight, very lackluster. I hate to say that. I don't know. Maybe my expectations were a little bit too high, you know, but it really felt like what was being built upon greatly last night. I thought we were going to continue to see a great build-up, and we really didn't get that tonight.
If your expectations were high, it's because WWE set them there. And then, like in a typical bowler fashion, they knocked all your pins down. Tonight was a complete and utter disappointment. I walked into this show thinking so many possibilities can happen.
Yeah, I was the same way. We got to give a shout out to.
A little excited.
Was that?
Daniel Bryan coming out really got me all excited.
Yeah, same here. We'll dive into it in just a hot second. I want to take this time out to thank our sponsors for tonight's episode. They're gearing up to work with us once again. We got to give it up to GatorMats.com. One more time, GatorMats.com. That's GatorMats.com. You guys want to check them out. We were talking about them last night on our Survivor Series post show, which, by the way, great turnout. I see today we have like a little bit over 10 million views. We got about 120 likes, about 20 dislikes. Very good turnout. Thank you to all of you that took the time out to join us for that, and especially if you had checked it out after we were done being off the air. Let's see if we can make that magic.
You said 10 million views, and we don't have 10 million views because then we'd be really huge.
Did I say 10 million or 10,000?
You said 10 million.
I apologize. Yeah, I'm having an off night. Yeah, 10,000. I don't want you guys like crapping your pants. It was 10,000 that we have. But yeah, we gotta give a shout out to Gator Mats. They're sponsoring us once again. 100% American-made mats for you guys that love to have your man cave hooked up with your favorite sports team, whether you're following the NBA, the NHL, yeah, you name it, man. Colleges, military, they got your hookup. Head on over to GatorMats.com. And our other sponsor, well, you know, they got a couple of chuckle out of some of the guys last night. But, yeah, you can call this Dr. Love with Lee Sanders. I'm not going to even plug it right now. We'll plug it again later on in the show. Special shout-out to those of you that watch us from time to time. And you want to, like, see if we can maybe do something where we plug your stuff or whatever, make sure that it's really relevant to our audience. You know, I mean, I'll try to do what I can, but Titus, I know you probably will be thinking the same way. You know, if you're shoving that money in my face, I'm gonna pull a Kevin Nash and take it.
Well, of course. I mean, you know,
Right.
I quote Ted DiBiase. Everybody has a price.
Everybody has a price, yes. You know, Survivor Series. Once again, great pay-per-view. Those of you that did not check out Survivor Series, here's the reason why the pay-per-view was awesome, just in case you haven't been checking out the wrestling headlines. You didn't watch the pay-per-view last night. You've just been, I don't know, maybe you've been on vacation. I don't know. But Sting, he made his WWE debut officially, and I'm telling you, it had to have been the mark-out moment of the year. It had to have been one of the best moments we've seen in professional wrestling. I was telling a coworker this earlier today, Titus, because he had asked me how the pay-per-view was, and I told him, I said, you didn't see it? He said, no. I said, well, you know what? Don't watch Raw tonight. You got to watch the pay-per-view first. And he doesn't have the WWE network, all right? So I told him, I said, look, it's still free for November. This isn't a cheap plug. I just told him straight up. I said, look, it's still free for November, all right? I don't even think you need to use your credit card. Owe it to yourself to test it out. You can watch the pay-per-view, check out some of the specials, and, you know, if you like it, you know, get yourself a prepaid card or whatever afterwards, and, you know, continue to keep the network and all that. And he was like, really? The pay-per-view was like that? I said, for the main event, what happened at the end, it's worth it. It made it instantly a very memorable pay-per-view that you'll be talking about years to come. All right, so again, that message goes to you guys that didn't see the pay-per-view. Make sure you go out of your way, check it out. When it comes out on DVD, buy it. As we were just saying last night, Titus, hopefully when it comes out on DVD, they'll have like a lot of great exclusives, some behind-the-scenes stuff. I wouldn't mind hearing Sting say one or two things. You know, did you guys honestly expect Sting to appear on Raw tonight? Titus, I didn't expect Sting to appear tonight. Did you?
Didn't expect it, but surely hoped for it.
Yeah,
I actually was hoping that the Triple H Stephanie segment would have come at the end of the show, and while they are doing their little fit in the rafters would be Sting. And that's how the show should have ended, if I were booking. But I'm not.
Hell, even if they couldn't have the real man be there, I would have settled for the lights going out and Black Crow just goes flying, you know, in the arena or whatever. I would have settled for something like that, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, man. Bad show. It was a bad show.
And maybe it's because we got our hopes up. Maybe we expected more out of tonight than what was planned. But as the show last night ended, as we're left with one of the, honestly, one of the best moments in wrestling history, and high expectations for a follow-up, we get Daniel Bryan come out. Great moment, a half-hour segment, pretty much dedicated to them leaving. All talking the first half hour.
A lot of talking. Yeah, first 30 minutes, a lot of talking.
Mostly full with Daniel Bryan. I'd say about 20 minutes of it was Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
And then that was it. It was over. It all went downhill from there. You had the tag team match, Sandow continuing to be the star in that whole thing, and it just continued to be downhill.
The Authority working the crowd to open up the show, I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed that a lot.
Excellent.
It was good. It was really good, especially with Daniel Bryan coming out, no words being exchanged. He just throws up the yes fingers, and he gets the crowd working with him. I'm like, okay, this is what's up. This is good. You know, okay, this might be one of those type of shows, and I'm saying to myself in the back of my mind, maybe we might get Randy Orton on here. You know, it'd be a great way to kind of, you know, really kick this off. You know, let's see what happens here. But, I mean, to go. It was 30 minutes total of talking, right?
Yep.
See, for me, I can't help but feel the frustration from the fans that's there in attendance. You know what I'm saying? Because Titus, I'm sure you've gone to enough wrestling events. I know every time I go to some wrestling events, especially with WWE, I mean, for those of you that have not gone to a WWE live event, first of all, you're missing out. When it's in your neck of the woods, go check it out. On top of that, support all forms of wrestling, indie wrestling. Go check them all out, all right? But when WWE comes to your neck of the woods, you haven't got any experience, you got to go, because you can definitely feel where I'm coming from on this. Titus, you've been to WWE events, right?
Many.
Many? Okay, so you can back me up on this to an extent. This new format that they got going on, where they're now 3 hours, all right? Just picture this. They come to your neck of the woods. It's Monday Night Raw, all right? You're probably getting off work, you're getting the kids together or whatever. You're probably going to try to be in line. Okay, well, maybe they say the door is open at 6, maybe 6:30. You're probably going to try to be there around 4, maybe 4:30, 5 at the latest, okay? All that standing that you're doing, waiting to go in. You finally go in. You go get your food. You go use the bathroom because you know it's going to be a few hours. Then you're pretty much, depending on what's going on, if you got some good seats, you know, yeah, you're okay. You're probably going to be doing a lot of sitting if you got a pretty good vantage point. If you can't really see, you're probably going to be doing a lot of standing. The point that I'm making is, between the time that you get to the arena to the time when the show starts, there's a lot of waiting, build-up anticipation that's going on. And finally, when the show hits, now look, they are being tortured. I'm sure they probably taped some stuff for Superstars. They probably taped some stuff for SmackDown. They probably did a little something like that in between, so the folks weren't just sitting there and all that.
Yeah, what they'll typically do is they'll pre-tape different shows. They'll have a dark match to warm the crowd up. You know, there's probably an easy 30, if not full 60 minutes prior to, depending on which kind of show you go to, 30 minutes of action before the cameras hit. Yeah. And you sat there for at least a half hour, 45 minutes in your seat after being in line for an hour after working half the doggone day too. So that's where we're at this point, right?
Exactly. I'm not sure for the flagship show that's really a good way to kick it off. I mean, 30 minutes. I'm sitting there. I'm like, where's the punchline? Or, get to the point already. It's like, okay, I'm glad to see Daniel Bryan. The Authority's moving the storyline along. That's good. But, okay, let's get to some action. And we didn't finally get our first match until about the 35-minute mark, yeah?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was a squash match at that.
Yeah, didn't even, you couldn't even get yourself a little bite to eat and really kick back and enjoy yourself. What was that first match again? It was
Ryback and Mark Henry.
Yeah, that a WrestleMania rematch basically.
Yeah, it was a squash. It put over Ryback over Mark Henry, and that was, I think that was the way the WWE made up for how they treated Ryback last night and putting him out quick and early. Well, let's reestablish the importance of Ryback. Let's have him go over really quick over Mark Henry. That'll just reignite his popularity, his importance. That's all that was about.
Yeah.
But there was nothing gripping about the rest of the evening. I gotta be honest, myself, I never got a chance to get on the WWE app to even vote. I could not get in it. I had several others in the house. They couldn't get on. I read off and on through Twitter that other people had trouble. In truth, they only had 300,000 votes on this whole main event. I think they've done more than that in years prior. So that was a failure. The segments were lagging. Larry the Cable Guy, just horrible. And I'm a Larry the Cable Guy kind of guy. I think he's hilarious. I love watching, the cars with the kids, because of Tomato, and I like Larry the Cable Guy. Just a bad segment there with him with his shirt off and give me a break.
You know, I remember a time when he was the TNA champion. Do you?
I saw that little tweet somewhere. Yeah, it looked a little familiar. But you know, the show just got worse and worse and worse, Lee. I mean, you have Adam Rose and the stupid freaking bunny in the third hour. In the third hour, in the money hour, you're putting the damn bunny in a tag team match against Tyson Kidd. And why the hell is Natalia involved in all this crap? I mean, it is a complete and utter cluster. It is an embarrassment to follow up what happened last night. Anything I had in hopes for a really good run, starting off towards, for me, this is the beginning steps to WrestleMania. This is where you start saying, okay, we know we want to get here for WrestleMania in March. How do we get there? Well, we got to build up starting now, putting the pieces in place, starting to set the chessboard up. And right now, there's nothing that really excites me other than the one moment with Sting. And let's be real, you and I talked last night that this pay-per-view yesterday wasn't that great. The moment, the last 10 minutes is what was great over a subpar pay-per-view, followed up by, honestly, I'm going to bag this as one of the worst Raws of the year. Only a little bit better than being the worst because Daniel Bryan opened the show in a very good way. Other than that, it was a terrible show.
It really was.
Am I burying it pretty bad right now? That's what I feel like I'm burying it, but that's how I feel.
Look, let's be honest, folks, especially to you long-time subscribers, you long-time viewers of ours. Let's be for real. You know, any day of the week, if you've been watching us long enough, you know we try to do our best to be as honest, and we try to look at all standpoints. We try to be as neutral as possible when it comes to these shows. I don't care if it's WWE. I don't care if it's TNA. I don't care if it's Ring of Honor. I don't care if it's Lucha Underground, Shine Wrestling. I don't care who it is. We try to be as neutral as possible when we give our analysis and overall reviews of the products. But you guys got to admit, I mean, you take away Daniel Bryan, you really had a very weak follow-up from a pretty monumental pay-per-view. I mean, there's just no way you can cut around that. And, I mean, yeah, I couldn't help but just shake my head while being disgruntled when I saw the bunny Titus, because I'm like, my God, what the hell? Where is this going? And can it get to that point already? Unless Rob Van Dam is under that damn suit. You know, can we get to the point already? Because this is dragging on. And I actually did something a little bit hilarious. I actually said to myself, how can we make this bunny angle interesting? And I started thinking about it. I say, you know, what if they go to Looney Tunes route? Right? Go to Looney Tunes route. Think about it. Zeb Coulter looks like Yosemite Sam. All right? I would love to see some nice little backstage segments or whatever. It can all begin with an innocent backstage segment, right? We can see maybe like on next Monday's WWE Raw, Zeb Coulter is kicking back and he's talking to Swagger. He's like, how was your Thanksgiving? What did you do? And he tells him and everything. Well, this is why I suffer a sucker attack. You know, he tells him and everything.
Jack Swagger's playing Sylvester, okay.
Sylvester the Cat, right. So he tells him and everything, and Zeb's like, you know, well, I had got this really, you know, blah, 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 blah. This had happened. Hey, my wife had made some really good carrot cake. Would you like some? Yeah, sure. Okay, well, come on. Let's go, you know, it's in the locker room or whatever. And it'd be awesome, like, they go in there and they see the freaking bunny. He's helping himself to the freaking cake. And that, like, begins the Zeb Coulter bunny feud, you know, and for a series of weeks, you just start to see, like, I want them to literally pull pages out of Looney Tunes. I want to see Zeb Coulter.
I swear to God, I swear to you, if the WWE spies who tend, and they go out and listen to different. If they hear this and they do this, I'm jumping out my frickin' window because that would be the end of the WWE. That's it. I'll jump. So I'm just telling you. Oh my Lord.
I think that would be hilarious if they did that. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how I can be entertained. It's like, you're going to keep giving me this bunny, right? Every single week. You're going to keep shoving it down my throat. I at least want a chuckle out of it, and I haven't been getting the chuckle so far. I mean, granted, him doing the little sexual thrust, that's kind of funny, but I need a little bit more than that. So give me some Looney Tunes skits. I think that would be freaking awesome.
You know what would be entertaining? I'll tell you what would be entertaining. Good wrestling matches.
Oh, yes.
Dear God, how can we even use that word? Wrestling matches. This is why, and I'm a WWE fan. I've been a WWE fan since 1986. That's how old I am, boys and girls. I'm a wrestling fan. But I also sit back and tell you I believe in independent wrestling. Not just because I work in independent wrestling, but because independent wrestling is wrestling for wrestling's sake. And that's what I get off on is good wrestling matches. And a guy like Dolph Ziggler could put on a really good wrestling. Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose. That's a match I want to see. That's entertainment. I'm just so tired of... I miss good backstage segments. I miss GTV back in the Attitude Era. That was good backstage entertainment. There's so many things that they used to do, and I don't know what's going on with the product. I really don't. And I try so hard to be the defender of the product. I think I defend them probably as much as either of us do. And right now I feel deflated, Lee. I really, really do, because last night this afternoon I'm working, I'm doing my day job, and I'm watching. I'm through Twitter, and I see one news organization, Dirt Sheet, pop up a fan video. I retweeted it. If you saw it, fan video from in the arena last night when Sting actually made his entrance. Watching it on TV last night did not do justice to what happened in that arena last night.
Yeah.
Did not do any justice. The sound levels, the chanting, the excitement, and you got a taste of how that felt in the opening segment tonight when they had Sting's video and they kept cutting to the fans. The excitement was unbelievable. He was still trending in the top 5 this evening when Raw kicked off. Before his first little, promo video that started the show off, he was still trending worldwide. It's that big of a deal. And what did they do? They took the ball and they fumbled it. They're in the red zone and they fumbled it. And that's really sad for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Sting, an interesting thought came into my mind earlier today. And, I was up late last night going into this early morning. I probably had got about, if I was lucky, maybe 4 hours of sleep. Then I had to go into work. And I stayed up in part to watch on the WWE Network again when Sting came out. And I was like, oh. And all I thought about all day was just how he came out and everything. It brought up an interesting question to my mind that I think is a good topic of discussion, since there's really not that much of Raw we can talk about. But there was a few highlights of Raw, folks. We'll definitely talk about it. There was like maybe 2 at most, maybe 3 max, that is worth noting. But with regards to Sting, Titus, do you think what went down with him last night surpasses when WWE was able to patch things up with Bruno Sammartino? Do you think it surpasses when WWE was able to mend old wounds with the Ultimate Warrior? He gets in the Hall of Fame. Does it surpass Ultimate Warrior's final speech before he had his heart attack? And of course, we all know what happened after that, like 24 hours later after all. Where would you rank that moment for Sting?
I think it's an equal. I don't think it surpasses. I mean, we're talking about Bruno Sammartino. I mean, that's If you were a wrestling fan in the 70s, which I, of course, was not, a little bit before my time, then it's Bruno Sammartino, almost the godfather of WWE. Ultimate Warrior, I think the Sting maybe eclipses Warrior. Warrior really only had a short window of major success overall. His success was massive, but it was a short window. Sting's success has gone on for 20-plus years. He's had all the success that you could possibly have, and yet never be in WWE, never be at WrestleMania. So it's a pretty big event. I'd put it up there side by side with Bruno, because both men at one point said that they were not interested in being in WWE. Washed their hands of the Attitude Era and that sort of type of programming that they were putting on at one point. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
A lot of great discussion we had on last night's Survivor Series post show. We also went in depth on Sting possibly taking on Triple H at Mania. If you guys didn't check that out, make sure you do so after you get done checking out this episode. There was a couple of bright spots, as we mentioned, for WWE Raw tonight. I'm looking at my notes right here. One off the break, Dean Ambrose, Luke Harper. I liked how it was for the Intercontinental Championship. I mean, as soon as I heard it was for the Intercontinental Championship, which, by the way, all these matches that came about from Raw tonight, Daniel Bryan had made because he was the special guest Raw General Manager, at least for this night only. And, it was a good match, but at the same time, I'm saying to myself, okay, where's Bray Wyatt? Bray Wyatt has to come out. He has to maybe sabotage this possible win for Dean Ambrose if they're going to be continuing this feud and setting up their rematch at TLC. Sure enough, we did see Bray Wyatt come out, but it was after. What happened, Titus? Did Dean get disqualified?
Yeah, Luke Harper had pushed Ambrose into the referee. Referee assumed that it was Dean pushing him and called for the disqualification.
Okay. Well, I thought that was kind of.
I think it's kind of lame. I mean, they never really. I mean,
Titus, we lost you. Say that again.
well,
there you go, Titus.
Yeah, see, it goes back to consistency, right?
Yeah, there you go. So start over.
Oh, was I gone? Is that what happened?
Yeah, you faded out. And Titus, you faded out again, man. Titus might have a storm coming at his end, folks. He's been having some bad weather over the weekend. Titus, I'm just going to keep talking, and when I hear you, I'm going to shut up, but say something.
I'm here again. I'm back. You get me now?
I hear you now, yeah.
All right. What I said was, what bothered me about that disqualification was that last night Triple H had attacked two referees, put them to the ground, no disqualifications of any kind there, but then you have Dean Ambrose butt bump the referee just, ever so slightly, and he's disqualified. It doesn't make much sense to me. It's not very consistent in the talking points.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. I thought that was kind of silly when I saw that go down. I'm like, really? I'm like, come on, man. Checking my notes here. How about the AJ Lee taking on Brie Bella? I mean, it was a decent match, but what really made that moment was we saw Nikki Bella helping out her sister, because after all, one good turn deserves another. Brie had did her part at last night's pay-per-view and making sure Nikki had became the champion. Remember, the question that we had put out there to you guys is, what's next in the Bella Twins saga? Because you see the Bella Twins and they acting all footsie and like everything's cool, like the whole servant for 30 days isn't even in motion right now, and you're saying to yourself, well, maybe Brie has some type of a ulterior motive or whatever. Maybe we'll find out tonight. We didn't get that. Instead, we
Didn't
see the
even
sisters
mention-
acting like.
Didn't even mention it
No,
one
thank you for
time.
mentioning that. No, no, and I was paying attention to the commentating. They did not even mention, oh, Bree is Nikki serving for one more day, and no, they didn't even do that. And we saw a little bit of a pipe bomb. And folks, what's the magic word for today? Consistency. We saw a little bit of a pipe bomb afterwards come from AJ Lee, who said to the Bella Twins, talent is not sexually transmitted. I was speechless when I saw that, Titus.
That's pretty harsh. And of course, she mentioned as she walked in, she said to Bree, "Let's be honest here."
Yeah.
A little play on lesbian.
Yeah.
I wow. It was probably. It almost seemed like almost felt like a shoot, but you don't know how it is.
It felt so uncharacteristic because if you all have been paying very close attention to what AJ Lee has been, I got distracted because I'm now seeing two Titus Machiavelli icons on my screen here. Sorry, guys. No, but like seriously, like if you pay attention to AJ Lee and how she's been since she's come back. You know, it just seems like she's been just this carefree, la 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 la. I'm just happy to be here. I'm gonna wrestle whoever, and you know, it is what it is. You know, she's been having one of those type of laid back type of grooves, and for me to see her say that line tonight, I just couldn't help but really say, "Damn, did she like just say that? Was this for real? Did she do a straight up shoot or what?" And I'm sure it's probably going to have a lot of people talking even more. A lot of people are under the impression that based on what we saw last night, Titus, maybe her days are numbered in the WWE. Maybe she's about to roll out again. I mean, honestly, she really doesn't need to wrestle. She's got Mr. CM Punk, Mr. Moneybags, for her to continue to wrestle. She's doing it for the love of the sport, for the pure entertainment value. Titus, say something, man. I don't know what's going on with Titus tonight, folks. Titus is speechless. I've never heard Titus this quiet before. It's very eerie. Titus, I think you having some internet problems, man. I don't know what's going on with you. I'm just going to keep talking. I'm going to keep talking. Hopefully we get Titus back. There you go, Titus. Just jump in, Titus. I'll let you know if I hear you. Other than that, I'm trying to look at some other things that happened on Raw tonight. I know some of you guys are probably checking out this review right now, and you're probably saying to yourself, God, can we get kind of upbeat here? Was there anything else that was good about this episode? Well, aside from the pipe bomb from AJ Lee, aside from the decent match that Dean Ambrose had with Luke Harper, no. I think honestly that was it. I mean, your main event match had saw John Cena, Dolph Ziggler team up, and they had took on the team of, I think it was Seth Rollins, Jamie Noble, and Joey Mercury. This was the result of the poll that WWE had did, where they wanted you to figure out who was going to be Seth Rollins' opponents to take on John Cena and Dolph Ziggler. And with like, I think it was 92% or 93% of the votes, Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble had won. J&J Security, as they were being dubbed. And I was a little bit surprised at the execution of this match. Then again, I should have known better. If you guys that have been fans of J&J for many years, if you were looking for them to actually put on a damn good entertaining match against Cena, Ziggler, you didn't get that. They came in there like comedy relief. Kind of felt like I was watching Bulk and Skull on a lost episode of Power Rangers. That's exactly how it had came off. And yes, I see the pictures that's coming in. I am getting some really funny pictures coming in right now of AJ Lee and looks like Nikki kissing. It says AJ and Bree be like, and then you see a picture at the bottom of CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. They got these messed up looks on their faces like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? Go to our Twitter page at the RCWR show. Titus, I know you're back. I've been looking at you the whole time. I see your icon, but say something.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt you at all. You were on a roll, so I didn't want to be.
Supposed to interrupt.
I disappeared into the cyberspace. I guess the new anonymous Raw general manager has turned off our screen for us.
How about that? What did you think about that? Looks like they're bringing that back.
Piece of crap.
Hey, how much you want to bet that?
Let's be real. Let's be real. We all know that the quote-unquote Raw general manager was Hornswoggle. So if anything other than Hornswoggle being the Raw general manager next week is just the one-time, a temporary one-night general manager thing, it just killed it last night. It just killed everything from last night. That ended my frustration with this Raw general manager thing. I mean, did we not get enough of that the first time around?
I don't know, but it sure was funny to hear Michael Cole say, "Excuse me." I missed him saying that. That's what had really catapulted him in the hot seat. That's really what had made him be hated amongst the wrestling community, wasn't it?
Well, I think that was definitely what made him hated. He was already hated, so they just kind of played into, that more. But yeah, it was probably his big heel run as an announcer.
I was looking at some of the tweets that came in. I was really quiet tonight because, number one, I had a nagging headache, and maybe that came from Raw. I don't know. And then, but I was watching some of the tweets that was coming in on my feed, and somebody had an interesting tweet, and I wish I can give them credit. I tried to look for them, but I couldn't find them. I should have favored and retweeted it. But the Big Show segment, this tweet had came in and had said, okay, in Big Show's illustrious career, in the WWE at least, we've seen him go babyface 10 times and heel 11 times. What year did Big Show get there?
Let's see. I think Big Show arrived around 99. Wasn't it? Was it?
Let me see. I can pull it up right now. Keep talking.
Let's see. I think it was 99. Maybe it was late 98, early 99 when he joined. Jericho came in July of 99. So Show had to come in. Yeah, had to be at the beginning of 99 or gosh, maybe 98. Now that I think about it. You finding this thing, Lee? Because I'm running out of things to say.
Yeah, well, remember, let me speed you up a little bit. Let me try to help you narrow it out a little more. It involved him interfering in a Stone Cold Steve Austin match.
It did, and I think it was like a February deal, something of that nature. And he arrived as
Valentine's
Paul
Day
White.
Massacre pay-per-view.
Valentine's
Day Massacre
February.
pay-per-view.
I was right. What year?
Let's see. That would be 1999.
I am still the evil genius of professional wrestling. So it was February of 99. Paul 99. White is what he was when he first walked in, and he joined up with Mr. McMahon, I believe, against Stone Cold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, he's bounced back and forth 10 times and 11 times, huh?
Yeah. Weird freaking number, man. What did you make of that segment there? I thought he was going to come out to say he did it for the Hall of Fame.
Well, I said last night that it was going to be, it wasn't my fault. I had to, and he kind of played that line a little bit. And if you look on our tweets here, Matt Ruiz sent us a nice tweet showing all the different turns that he has
I'm
had.
looking at it too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! It's at this point it is.
God,
It's a joke.
Shout out to Matt. We gotta read this to them. I mean, check this out, folks. Check this out. Here's some good history lessons right here. See, I like when the fans help us out, especially like when we have a bad Raw like tonight, because we can go into like other topics and it's still wrestling related. Check this out. Every single time Big Show went face and heel. Ready? Here we go. Turned face to feud with Big Boss Man.
Oh, yeah, move up a little bit. You missed the beginning part.
Oh, I missed the beginning. Wait a minute. Let me
entered as a heel.
Oh, you're right. Yes, entered as a heel, turned face to join the Union.
I remember that wasted time.
Turned heel to join Undertaker as a heel tag team. I remember that. I'm gonna show you something. No, I remember that. Turned face to feud with Big Boss Man. That was actually a good feud. I remember that.
His father passing away.
Yeah, I remember that. Turned heel at the Royal Rumble 2000. Turned face after WrestleMania. Began mimicking other wrestlers. Yeah.
The Showsters.
Yeah, I remember that. I thought that was a nice little chuckle. Turned heel by attacking Undertaker, siding with Shane O'Mac. I gotta look that up again. Turned face during Invasion. Turned heel after WrestleMania 18 by joining NWO. Yeah, that watered down version. Turned face after returning to the company in mid-2004 to feud with Kurt Angle. Turned heel while teaming with Kane, feuding with SmackDown guys Mysterio and Batista. Turned face during feud with Triple H after New Year's Revolution 2006. Turned heel when he became ECW champion. Of course, we all remember when he left WWE for about a year. Returned in 2008. Best shape that he was in ever during his time in the WWE, I thought. I mean, he had muscles and all that. Returned as a face, but then turned heel by attacking Rey Mysterio.
So is that two turns?
Yeah. 2 turns, like back to back. That was like a couple of weeks or whatever. Wow. Turned face after WrestleMania 24 to feud with Great Khali. Yeah. Turned heel by siding with Vicky Guerrero in her feud with Undertaker. That actually was good. I remember that. Yeah. And they had revealed that her and Big Show, they were actually hitting it under the skins and all that. Yeah. I remember that. I thought that was kind of funny. Turned face by giving a KO to The Miz after Show Miz lost the tag titles. Turned heel at Over the Limit 2012 by KOing John Cena. Yeah.
2 years later.
That. Yeah. Turned face in early 2013 by attacking The Shield. Turned heel by knocking out Sheamus Orton after losing to The Shield at WrestleMania 29. Returned as a face in August to help fight The Shield. Turned semi-heel briefly, knocking out faces at the Orders of the Authority. Turned back to a babyface after rebelling against the Authority. Turned heel at Survivor Series, knocking out John Cena.
That's 7 turns in 2 years.
God damn.
And I think, honestly, when I look at the Paul White, and he's at the end of his career. When I think of Show, I want to remember him as a face, personally. I remember Andre, not for as much as his feud with Hogan and his heel turn. Andre's mostly remembered as Andre the Giant, the gentle giant that he truly was. And if you take a look at Paul White, he is a guy who has a heart as big as his body is, and he's a big, soft man, and I'd like to see him stay a face, stay loved, and this whole back and forth seems as if, you know, the creative has nothing for him, and they just decide that he just needs to switch off whenever possible. It's almost, it is a joke at this point.
It really is. It really is. What did you think about the segments involving Kane as the concession version Kane? They were kind of playing off that claymation cartoon. I can't think of what was it, Slam City?
Yeah.
Not only Slam City, but do you remember there was only like one episode that was done, and it was hilarious as hell. It was like this WWE animated series, and like Stephanie McMahon came out, and she introduced Daniel Bryan's opponent, Kane. So you first see Kane, and then they come back a few seconds later. Stephanie McMahon's like, let's see how you do against Scuba Diver Kane. And then it goes into some other crap. And you see that go down with Kane tonight. You're like, oh, no, they didn't. They actually kind of ripped one from what was happening with Slam City and the other stuff. How'd you enjoy that?
It was probably one of the brightest parts of the whole show. It really was. I think the point where the quote-unquote manager was laying into Kane, you know, she's what, 5'2", Kane, you know, about 7 foot, and just seeing her put her finger pointing him in the chest and telling him, you know, how he was going to pay for things, that brought a chuckle for sure. That was pretty funny. And I think Kane in those situations is always been money, because you got this giant monster, and he's in a situation where you just look like that. Just it's fish out of water sort of thing. So that was a bright spot for the show.
Yeah, it was. You know, one thing that I thought was hilarious was when he met up with Ryback, and they were brawling and everything. And I like how Ryback said to him, hey, don't forget your nuts. And I'm kind of thinking to myself, hey, Ryback, why were you holding Kane's nuts?
Right.
I'm just saying, you know. Nothing to look forward to next week. I see quietly, you know, they really didn't give you anything to make you want to come back and watch Raw next week. It's almost like they're out of ideas or whatever. It really makes you wonder how the creative process is going for the writing. You know, I can remember hearing stories about Vince Russo and the rest of the team. You know, they're like working like for that whole week to come up with next week's episode, and then they're also at the time it was just Raw, but then eventually it went to the SmackDown and all that, but they would work like for a whole week on Raw, and sometimes right on up until the show, scripts would get rewritten and everything. This episode tonight, it just really kind of felt like no type of effort was made whatsoever from a writing standpoint.
And that's sad, because it should be a big deal. It should be, we've got a lot going on. We got this whole build to go from and build off of Sting, who, if you're looking at Twitter, is still the third largest, you know, trending item in the world, and they barely used it. I mean, they barely used it other than that one opening segment, and they didn't build on it. They could have done a dozen different things to just continue to play off of it. I don't know. I just don't know what's going on.
Hey, you know what? Shame on WWE, because you introduce Sting, 24 hours later, you have the freaking little lower third at the bottom of your screen, and they're plugging all types of stuff. Oh, this is trending, blah this, blah that. All right. You don't mention the Best of Sting DVD that recently came out. You don't even do a goddamn commercial break and plug the DVD. I'm thinking, okay, you want to capitalize, because marketing strategy 101, if you just made Sting debut, some people are probably going to be like, who, what, and then other people like myself and Titus, we're going to be like, awesome, awesome, and then WWE, you should be like, oh, well, now's the time to plug the DVD that was released a couple of weeks ago. Let's see if we can get in some more revenue. Let's see if we can double our profits. And nope. We don't even get a, hey, how would you like to play as Sting? Well, you can in the new WWE video game if you pre-ordered it, or, maybe it could be worked out in a way where, hey, enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday right. For one day only, you'll be able to download Sting as a playable character or something like that. Capitalize, man.
Something. A marketing machine like the WWE missed the boat completely. It was as if Sting walked out last night on his very own, and nobody knew what was going to happen. They're like, "Oh, we don't know what we're going to do. He just walked out." This has been in planned for by all reports over the last couple of days. But let's be real. It's been planned for months and months and months. What we're going to do when we finally put him out there, whenever and however it happens, what are we going to do the next day? And nothing happened. It was just as if, oh, we forgot that happened last night. Yeah. So yeah, that's what's disappointing. And I hope that they can, they have an opportunity to do something really great with Sting, because they're going to have him for a short period of time. I don't really see him being there for this, 2 or 3 year run. I could be wrong, but I don't see it. I see this is, a 6-month run, going into Mania with Hall of Fame induction and a WrestleMania day, and that's it. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think that I am. So.
We want to take this time out to thank those of you that's checking us out tonight. He's Titus Machiavelli, Lee Sanders here. You can follow Titus on Twitter at Evil Genius Titus. You can also follow us on Twitter at the RCWR Show. Make sure you check out the TitusMachiavelli.com website. Some really great stuff that he posts over there. You have the results for that latest poll?
I absolutely do. The poll question is, based on the current run for Brock Lesnar, how would you rate it? There are 4 choices, one being great, one being okay, another being not great, could be better, and of course the last being horrible, he's ruined the WWE title. And the results are in, and it's a tie. First tie I've ever had, and the results are 33% think that it's horrible, and 33% think it's not great. Only 8% thought it was a great thing. So 67% think it was not great or horrible run for Brock Lesnar. What does that tell you? Just a small sampling of fans, but what does that tell you about what's going on in the product with WWE?
Exactly, and I was actually part of the 33% that voted, and I voted that I think one of your options was it could be better, right?
Not great, it could be better.
Yeah, I voted for that one because, and that's just honestly how I felt. I felt that better things could have been done with his run. I mean, we talked about this before, but I mean, ultimately, when I look at it in retrospect, I actually think it's bad that Brock Lesnar is the current champion right now, because WWE, they're unfortunately in a really bad spot right now where if they want to try to have Brock Lesnar do more dates, they're going to have to meet his asking price. He's got a very hefty asking price, and like that song goes, cheaper to keep her or whatever, but in this case, it's very expensive for them to keep him on board. They would actually do better taking that same amount of money and, maybe reaching out to the AAA promotion, or hell, man, maybe NRW or a couple of other indie wrestling promotions.
Hey, we'd be open to having a discussion with WWE.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a lot of money that they're giving him, especially when you hear the rumblings that this guy is thinking about possibly returning to the UFC. I mean, if I'm hearing that, I'm saying to myself, okay, Brock Lesnar's contract is up in April. Okay, well, we need to see if we can maybe renegotiate with this guy ASAP, get a new deal signed, seal, deliver before the end of February so that we can try to get as many dates out of him as possible because he needs to be representing that championship belt. Boxers have defended their championship more than this guy has.
You want to put this in perspective, Lee?
Yeah.
And I think in my research that this is correct. The last time, and today is November 24th, the last time we saw Brock Lesnar was September 21st at Night of Champions. Am I right or wrong about that?
You're right. Night of Champions, yeah.
2 months since the WWE Championship has been defended. And Daniel Bryan went a little over a month, and they had to strip him because he couldn't defend the title. 2 months since the champion of their company has been on television.
No Jack Tunney rule. They were so quick to do the Jack Tunney rule on Daniel Bryan, but Brock Lesnar gets a pass, huh?
Apparently so. And that's just, you've got allegedly so much money put into this guy, and you've now not only put so much money into him, but you've put in, time, energy, and he's not there. This is the problem. Now you're seeing rumors that he's looking at possibly having an MMA fight against Bobby Lashley. Now think about that for a minute.
Man.
What is Brock Lesnar? He's the WWE champion. What is Bobby Lashley? A TNA champion. So those are some interesting dynamics. Well, not anymore. But he's, that could lead up to some. I mean, if I'm Vince, I don't sit there and have a TNA wrestler part-time working MMA versus my guy part-time working in MMA. I don't want to have that sort of thing going out there.
Right.
So it's just really interesting to see what's going on out there. So it's a little disappointing. The fans' votes are mimicking my feelings for the most part. I mean, if 8% say it's a great run, it makes the title worth something, that means that 92% are it's or worse.
I could feel a lot better about this run if we did the whole rewind trip, if we hopped in the DeLorean and went back to the 80s and Brock Lesnar's a champion and he's going around all the territories and he's having good main event matches and all that good stuff, and then eventually he comes back full circle to the WWE. Yeah, I could tolerate it if it was like that, but that's not even the case, and it's quite unfortunate. I got some interesting.
You said it yourself, Lee. They have the ability to do vignettes with him every couple of weeks. You have a vignette pop out, or this comes over, or that comes over. He's gone. Gone, and that's a problem.
Here's something that'll put a smile on many of you all's faces. I came across this article right before we came on the air. Kind of get you into the holiday spirit, all right? Vince McMahon, he actually did something really freaking cool. He actually granted a wish. I'll read the article to you. It's a pretty short one, but I'll probably cut it in half. John Whelan accomplished what most members of the WWE University only dream of doing Sunday night at Survivor Series. The longtime WWE fan met WWE Chairman Vince McMahon. This is an honor. This is a privilege to meet the big boss of WWE, Whelan told the WWEcommunity.com moments later. I cannot be here. There's no way, but I am. To top it off, not only did Whelan meet and take photos with Mr. McMahon backstage at the Scott Trade Center, but was also presented with a replica WWE World Heavyweight Championship personally autographed by the chairman. This was awesome. I did not see that one coming, Whelan said with the replica title slung over his shoulder as the Survivor Series kickoff began in front of tens of thousands of WWE fans in St. Louis. I'm trying to soak it all in. Whelan, 53, is in hospice care in nearby Chesterfield. Jacob DeNab, chaplain of Crossroads Hospice, explained to the WWEcommunity.com how meeting Mr. McMahon left an immediate impact on Whelan. This will be the last part I'll read to you guys, and if you want to check out the rest of this article, you can actually go to, I'll actually post a link in this episode description right now for you guys, and we'll also post it out on Twitter. Do retweet it because it's a good story. At the Crossroads Hospice, as part of our care plan, we recognize that people are more than just their illness. They are complete stories. They are complete persons with lives and narratives that bring them to the moment of us coming into their lives to treat them with their terminal illness. We have a program that we call the Ultimate Gift. Part of that Ultimate Gift is something called the Gift of a Day. We rely on the generosity of fantastic organizations like WWE. DeNap explained, pointing out that when asked what his perfect day would involve, Whelan's gift of a day wish was to meet McMahon. How about that?
That's very cool.
Yeah, that is badass. It's nice to hear Vince McMahon do stuff like that. You know, we never really heard him do stuff like that in the past. You know, not like in the 90s, 80s. You know, if he did do it, it really didn't get any coverage, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's good. Again, you can check it out. I'll put the article in the episode description and put it on Twitter. Something else I came across, Titus, that I thought was kind of interesting, especially since she had favored a tweet of yours. Charlotte, she had recently gave a interview to the Huffington Post, and some very interesting highlights here. Only two, and I want to get your take on. She was asked about the fear of not living up to Ric Flair's legacy. Direct quote, "The biggest thing holding me back is fear, being afraid to fail and not live up to such a legacy my dad has made. I do feel the pressure, but I also feel the drive. My dad was really hard on me as a kid in sports, so this is no different." And another thing that was noted was her desire to change the WWE Divas division. Direct quote, "I want it so bad. Obviously, NXT's brand, we have a little more time to work. There's a little more Divas focus, more storylines, more backstage segment. As NXT is the future, I hope as we all come up together, the Divas division will have more depth and be stronger. Not to say it's not strong now, but I hope with what NXT has to offer, the division will just be incredible." Titus, your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's, I mean, how can you not have pressure when you've got Ric Flair as your parent and all the successes that he had? I mean, you look at Brooke Hogan as another example of that as well. You're living up to somebody who's got such massive, bigger than anybody else possibly could sort of success. So, yeah, pressure's really on her for sure. But I think she's capable of doing it. She's shown that she has the ability to deliver great matches at NXT. It all comes down to storyline, creative, and her ability to not only deliver on that, but then also put her own twist out there, and hopefully being a Flair will help that out quite a bit. But remember, she's still pretty young in the business. I don't think she's got 4 years in at this point, does she?
I don't think so either. I don't think so either. We want to take this time out to thank you guys that's checking us out tonight. He's Titus Machiavelli, Lee Sanders here. We got to give a honorable mention to our sponsors one more time for tonight. We got to give it up to GatorMats.com. Make sure you show them some love. GatorMats.com. I'm telling you, if you need some really cool stuff for your man cave, your living room, you just got that new big old luxurious and very pretty flat screen TV, and you're thinking about what you're gonna do with that middle spot for when your boys come over. Maybe you want to rub your favorite team in their face and all that, even though they don't like your team. They got you hooked up with some nice mats, rugs, great for all occasions, 100% made in America. Represent GatorMats.com. and I got to put on the Dr. Love hat. So, Titus, forgive me for a moment. But, fellas, listen up. Y'all are going to be doing the commuting for several hours this holiday week coming up as it's Thanksgiving. Your beautiful, lovely woman is going to be with you at the side. She's going to be probably reading that map and being on the lookout for you and making sure you take the right exit so you don't go all strandling all around the place. You know how it is. Do it right by her. You know what I'm saying? Don't be kicking back playing your metal music and all that other stuff that she normally would not listen to, okay? Because basically you're going to have her hostage, and the last thing you want is for her to roll the window down and jump out the damn car as it's moving, all right? Keep her occupied. There's a cool book I want you to check out by author John Nwankwo. It's called Nurse's Romance, Craig's Love Story, Volume 1. It's the Kindle edition. If your girl is into romance novels, all that good stuff, she loves the Sparks movie, Nicholas Sparks movie, the Tyler Perry's, all that good stuff. This is right up her alley. Get it for her. Hey, you can do your Christmas shopping a little bit early. Pick up the book, or you can get ready for Valentine's Day. Pick up that book. Ladies, because I know we got some RCWR show female fans. You hearing that? Check it out. Link is in the episode description. We want to take our hats off and thank them and Gator Mats for sponsoring this episode. We appreciate it. Titus, on that note, let's get to the comments, man. Let's see what everybody's got to say here tonight.
While you're taking a look, we have some video that comes in after Monday Night Raw ends, and it actually probably was one of the best segments of the show and didn't make it. Dolph Ziggler super kicks Michael Cole during the dark after the show ends portion of the evening, and that would have been worth the ending of the show if we could have seen Dolph super kick Michael Cole.
Yeah, I'm actually watching it right now. Looks like I'm actually watching the wrong thing. Somebody sent me a GIF image of Edge shoving the hell out of the Raw General Manager laptop. You remember that?
Yeah.
That was an awesome moment. That was a WWE Network exclusive you were talking about?
No, it was over on, I'll retweet it to you.
Okay. Chai, love. AJ Lee has some great mic skills, man. She dropped a pipe bomb on the Bellas. They need to let AJ talk on the mic more often. I agree. You know, Titus, I think it's a little bit peculiar that of all the divas, I mean, she's small and, I mean, you know, she's got a nice little attractive look. I'll admit that. She's cute. She can talk. And it's quite sad that girls like her, Natty, Alicia Fox, it seems like all these girls are taking a backseat to the lame-ass Total Divas thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about that. I don't think that anybody in the Divas division has been lighting it up lately. I mean, there were some reports last night that AJ was phoning it in last night, and that she had. One report I read was that it might have been her wanted to get out there and get it done as fast as possible. Who knows what that's all about? I just think the Divas division is in some sort of turmoil right now. I don't think there's anybody leading the locker room in the Divas locker room. It sounds like the inmates kind of run this asylum in some ways. At least it appears that way.
Yeah. Hellbound, they keep mentioning how Cena has the power to reinstate the Authority. Do you think that maybe that could be foreshadowing or just a rhetoric?
Well, I think you look at it in two different ways. One, they mention it, so is it mentioned because they want to make you think John Cena has the ability to do a face turn? If he could turn face or heel, turn heel and join the Authority by bringing them back, or is it just smoke and mirrors? And of course, I believe it's smoke and mirrors because I don't see John Cena turning face or turning heel anytime soon. I just think it's a way of kind of playing with your head a little bit. If they keep talking about it, maybe it's going to be true because they keep talking about it. But I think it's more of smoke and mirrors.
One thing is for certain, as far as that idea I had about Vince McMahon saying to Triple H and Stephanie, hey, I knew you guys were going to meddle your noses in that main event match. That's why I had got a little bit of insurance policy. They didn't go that route. We would see Vince McMahon talk to them, tell them how disappointed he is with them, as the test that he gave them was basically to get them ready for the corporate world. And at least as far as Vince McMahon is concerned, kind of makes you come off as if, at least in Vince McMahon's eyes, he doesn't feel storyline-wise Triple H and Stephanie are ready yet.
Yeah, I think that the old man has plotted this whole thing as his way of reclaiming control of Raw, storyline-wise. But only time will tell.
Hellbound also wanted to know, did they just forget about the Battle Royal for the U.S. title, or is that next week?
They forgot about it.
Yeah. Just like they forgot about the Survivor Series post-show on the WWE Network. I was actually looking for it after we got done with the show, because I was like, okay, they say Vince McMahon's going to give an exclusive interview, and I'm like, okay, I know it's going to be on here. And
his reaction to the show is that clearly his reaction was nothing.
Yeah, it was nothing. Let's see here. Jason, WWE should strip Brock of the belt. Brock should have defended it last night. WWE wants subscribers to the network. Come on, WWE. Last night's pay-per-view should have been epic. Jamie, I must agree, I was kind of disappointed as well. It was great to see Daniel Bryan back, even if for one night, until he is back full-time. The match of the night for me would have to be Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper. I must say, the WWE bringing back the laptop GM is not a good idea. It didn't work in the past, and it won't work now. I have a question for Titus. If you could manage any current WWE superstar, who would you want to manage?
Ooh, dialogue for Titus. That's a question I actually get asked from time to time, and I guess it's kind of an open-end question because you could go a couple of different ways with it. You can go the more traditional manager role and go with somebody who needs help on the road, who needs help, with their promos, with help getting over or getting the heat. So you want somebody maybe a little, untested. I think I would do well with a guy like Jack Swagger, in the role that he has now, along with Zeb. I mean, Zeb and I have some similarities character-wise. But the other side of the things, you could go with something more Paul Heyman-like and go with somebody who would be more established, like CM Punk was with him. Ultimately, I would love to be involved with the all-new Four Horsemen. I think we've talked about that, Leah, several times.
Yeah.
And that would be a real fun segment for me to do from week to week, being in that J.J. Dillon role. That would be my ultimate dream, is to reform the Horsemen as their manager.
Yeah, those of you that missed that talk about Titus reforming the Four Horsemen, I'll post that link as well. It was a great excerpt that we did. It's actually here on our YouTube channel. We'll post that for you guys. Here's another question. That's a good one. Manuel, this question is for you, Lee and Titus. Do you guys find the Big E Langston New Day promo to be racist or just plain humor? I know WWE likes the stereotype gimmicks. Remember the Mexicools, but I couldn't help it tonight when Big E starts saying, "Until we claim," well, let me know. I gotta do that right. Until we claim, I said claim. He starts yelling. For me, I just look at it in a comedy sense. racism doesn't cross my mind. Well, if the rumblings are true, and honestly, I'm going to make an educational guess, and I'm going to say it's pretty accurate. I think based on the events that was going on with Ferguson, I honestly believe in my heart of hearts that that had played a huge impact on trying to bring the New Day stable to main WWE programming sooner. And of course, we all know about the announcement as far as Ferguson goes. We aren't getting into that. We got another show for that. We'll tell you about it in a little bit. But now we see that the New Day stable is going to be making their Raw debut next week. For me, it's a little racist, just a little bit, from the standpoint of, okay, so we have a black church choir hyping up 3 black guys, and stereotypical, and for me, I can speak on this as an African American. When you go to a typical church in a suburban neighborhood that's dominated by African Americans, you go in there, the reverend is like, well, well, y'all sure do look pretty good tonight. Oh, yes. I tell you, I know some of y'all want to leave right about now and watch them Redskins play. Well, you're not going to be able to do that till you hear the good word and eat some of this good fine food, good macaroni and cheese, collard greens, fried chicken that Mrs. Butterworth had made. They actually
Mrs. Butterworth.
Okay. I swear to God, they actually talk like that. Okay. So for me, I can't help but look at this New Day stable, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm offended a little bit. I hope it goes in a direction. Honestly, this is my last bid. All right. I'm hoping that, like, for a couple of weeks, they come out there, they do their little sermons and all that, and then they're nothing but smiles and faces. They mean well, and then I just like to see a big swerve ball happens, and it's like, we got you. We got you. That would just be badass.
I think, and of course, I don't have I'm opinionated on many things, but I think it is absolutely racist, and that's the point. I actually would love to see you have the 3 guys come out there, it's a new day, and all of a sudden you get Xavier Woods come out and go, you see this bunch of crap that WWE has us doing? Black people can only play James Brown characters or this character or that character. This is the problem with WWE. It's a racist company. I would want to see that swerve come on next week and them play that real heel Nation of Domination 2015 type of a thing. You have, Dr. Xavier Woods, and he can have, he would be the leader of, because he's almost a doctor, by the way. I'm not being racist. He's that leader of that group, and he almost a Malcolm X sort of a character. I can kind of see. And you've got this we're tired of being pushed around sort of play into some of the things that people think of WWE. Is it too edgy? It wouldn't have been prior to tonight. I think tonight puts things into some real. It gets serious, but WWE has never been one to turn itself away from controversy.
A New Day. Every time I hear that damn that damn name, I can't help but think about the Core. Wasn't their theme song "It's a New Day, It's a New Revolution"?
Something like that. Now that you say that.
Or maybe it was Nexus. I might have them mixed up. But
We Are One is the Nexus one.
Okay.
We Are One, something like that.
Core, I think had "It's a New Day."
I think you're right.
Yeah. Let's read a couple more comments here. You guys got some interesting stuff to say. I'll definitely give you guys credit here.
Thank God, because I sure don't.
Weston, happy birthday. It's Weston's birthday. I think Weston's from the UK. see what else we got. I'm looking for some more comments here. I think that's pretty much it. We got a couple of people that rated Raw. They pretty much had said, 6.5, really wasn't that good. So it's nice to see we didn't really piss off a whole bunch of people with some of the stuff we were saying tonight.
Well, I didn't do my job very well there, did I?
Yeah. Sergeant Slaughter, I don't really have anything much to say about that. I mean, it's always good to see Sergeant Slaughter. Definitely has a nice nostalgia feel. I think about some pretty classic matches when I see him. Of course, his infamous feud with the Hulkster. That one definitely comes into mind.
I think the thing about Sergeant Slaughter, it was the wrong character. Should have been somebody else, but I don't think that's ever going to happen now. So.
Nah. Lee and Titus, do you think somehow Vince will make Triple H in charge again? Once again, the loophole with the contract not being signed.
I think there's been a lot of talk on social media about the contract's not signed, the contract's not signed. I think if you go back in the annals of contract signings, I would be willing to bet that most of those contracts, most, not all, most, aren't signed. I think it's an overreach on our part as fans.
I'm with you on that one. Other than that, I mean, that is pretty much it. I mean, there's really not much else to talk about tonight. I mean, wrestling news, it's been relatively slow, but we are going to be doing another show for you guys. It's going to be our radio edition of the RCWR show. You can check that out Tuesday night over on Spreaker.com. We'll be covering the very latest. I'll give my thoughts on what's been going on with Ferguson. I'll also give my thoughts on Cosby. We were supposed to do a show for you guys last week, but I got bombarded with work, so we actually just said, okay, bump it, but make sure you represent. Check out that Tuesday night show, and then please make a programming note. Mark it on your calendars when you guys get a chance. We will not be doing a Monday night show here on YouTube for you guys next week as a result of that Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast interview with Vince McMahon. Instead, we will be coming on Tuesday, looks like December 2nd, to actually talk about that. And we're going to be using an old girlfriend that we haven't used in a good minute, which is Blog Talk Radio. I'm going to test out all the kinks, make sure everything's nice and smooth. We'll have the chat lines open. We got a phone line over there. You guys will be able to call in. It's one of those rare moments where you'll be able to call in, be live on the air with us, and you can talk all things wrestling, pick our brains. It's going to be a good show. So mark that down. That'll be on Tuesday, December 2nd. We usually come on at 9 p.m. Titus, you want to up that? Is that time good for you? You want to up it to 10, 11?
9 p.m. Eastern, I'm on the Mountain 7. Should be okay.
All right, well, we'll talk about it as it gets closer for sure, yeah. But make sure you mark that down. Join us for that. That should be pretty good. I tell you, Titus, in closing, nights like this where Raw is bad, I hate to say this, but I want to leave you guys with a really good thought right here. Y'all need to be concerned with what you've been seeing from the WWE product this whole calendar year, and pray to God that with 2015 around the corner, the product gets better in like a big way. I mean, I'm hoping that Daniel Bryan's recovery gets to the point where we can see him in time for WrestleMania. I don't know what's going on with Undertaker. Roman Reigns, he's not going to be able to just boom and pick up where he left off. He's going to have to, unfortunately, start all over again, get that build going up. And I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem for him in accomplishing that. But a lot of frustrations as far as with what you see from the WWE product weekly. For us to say, well, NXT was the better show this week, that's not good. Or, hey, Lucha Underground was better than Raw this week. Or TNA put on a better product this week. Raw needs to start being consistent with some really good writing for these shows, Titus, because for me, too many times have I got done watching Raw and I go to the network to get my real fix. You know what I'm saying? I want to feel like I'm watching something that's worthwhile. And for me, a lot of that fun has been coming from either the network or checking out shoot DVDs. And I don't know how much more I can put up with this stuff. They gotta continue to be more consistent in a good way.
Yeah, moments of brilliance need to be stacked together a little bit more frequently. Um, Last night really had me hopeful that we had some special things coming up. I think they fumbled tonight, like I said earlier, and they got to pick the ball up and they got to be able to run it and score because I like you. I do this not because I have nothing else better to do this. I do this because I enjoy talking wrestling. I enjoy hearing from the listeners and the viewers and interacting with one another about something that we're all passionate about, and that's professional wrestling. It doesn't mean we all have to agree because that's not the point. Agreeing makes it actually, I think, in many ways, boring. I want to have debate. I want to have those sort of questions, and they should have done this, or why didn't they do that? But too often we are dealt with, it was an okay show. And that's really not what we're watching wrestling for. We're watching wrestling because we want to get away from our day-to-day. We want to get away from our bosses who've jumped our butt all day long. We want to get away from the kids who've been running around the house. We want to get away from the bills. We want to spend a few hours in the universe called the WWE and live there for a few hours and just kind of be entertained. And right now, it's just not been very entertaining.
Nah, it hasn't. It hasn't. Good words right there. Good words right there. Of course, we want for you all to continue the discussion. We both will definitely respond to you all's comments individually when we get a chance. I know we probably had already addressed a lot of the questions already, but it's kind of nice to piggyback and actually respond to you guys because we do appreciate you guys interacting with us every single week.
And speaking of interacting, new poll just on the TitusMachiavelli.com website.
Ooh.
About Sting. If Sting only has one match, who should it be against? You have 5 choices. You have, of course, The Undertaker, Triple H, John Cena, Hulk Hogan, or Bray Wyatt. Those are probably the most 5 talked about. So, who should it be? Interact. Titus Poll of the Week. Results this show, not Monday, but of course Tuesday, December the 2nd.
I'm going to cast my vote on that one. That sounds good. I'm going to do that right now. Make sure you all do that as well. We got the Thanksgiving holiday week coming up. That's pretty much going to do it. On behalf of Titus Machiavelli, on behalf of our sponsors, once again, we got to give it up to GatorMats.com. We also have to give it up to the Nurse Romance, Craig's Love Story, Volume 1 by Jane John Nwankwo. Thank you all tremendously for sponsoring the RCWR show tonight. Make sure you give this episode a thumbs up. Share it a number of ways. You can Facebook, Google Plus it, retweet it. Always one of the many ways you can spread a good word about our content. And if you haven't subscribed to us yet, please
get on it!
Yes, get on it, man. I mean, we got like so many great, cool interviews you can check out, face-to-face interviews. Christopher Daniels, Mason Ryan, Brodus Clay. Poke your head in there. There's a lot of great stuff. We got some great reviews, whether you're into shoot DVDs, album reviews maybe, metal, rock. We got a little bit of everything, so make sure you check it out.
You're not going to find a more diverse program than that which Lee Sanders puts on, folks. You're not going to get more of everything out there. It's not just with me, it's always wrestling. With Lee, it's so much more. He's going to tackle some, pretty serious topics tomorrow night, but he does those. He does fun things like music and movie reviews. Lee Sanders, Mr. Entertainment himself.
Yeah. And we got to show some love to Titus Machiavelli. Please tell me the newest episode of NRW is available.
NRW available over on YouTube or on nrwcharge.com. Or you can type in NRW Charge in YouTube and it'll come up there. Episode number, I think, was 30 this past Thursday. It comes out every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. All good right. Wrestling stuff there. If you're looking for good wrestling, NRW, I'm telling you, give it a shot. Let me know what you think about it. And I think you're going to be impressed with some of the things you can see out of an indie promotion.
TitusMachiavelli.com, Evil Genius Titus on Twitter. That's going to do it, boys and girls. Have a very good holiday. We will join you once again December 2nd over on Blog Talk Radio. Until next go round, be safe, be kind to one another.
Be thankful.
Be very thankful. That's right.